Well, ask any mother, a child is the greatest gift anyone could ever ask for. Becoming a mom, though, is not always easy. Some women have gone through years of medical procedures only to find themselves where they started. That's what happened to a Sussex County woman, but she didn't give up. In fact, her journey to motherhood sent her to Siberia and back, and now she's helping other women who just want to be called mommy.
We got married 1 year to the date of our first date.
By the time Sharon and Rick Simons of Seaford jetted to Las Vegas to get married, Sharon was already 11 weeks into her first pregnancy. Twins! Both had been married before. He already had 3 kids.
Thankfully, I met my husband, and we had to basically have that talk right away that if you want to go further with this, I want to be a mom, and is that an option? And thankfully, he was willing to say, "You're worth it, I'll give it a shot."
Sharon got pregnant through in vitro fertilization. Everything seemed to be going well.
And then at 19 weeks, that's when tragedy struck. I had a shooting pain, and before I knew it, I was in a hospital bed in labor, induced labor, and I lost those twins.
Sharon was sent home with a document to remember the 2 precious lives lost.
And almost lost my own life, so it was a tough time, but it still didn't take away my determination to want to be a mom.
But after 2 more in vitro procedures, one resulting in a tubal pregnancy, Sharon knew becoming a mother would not happen biologically.
Just was more I think something clicked in my head. I don't know if it ever happens to somebody, and I said, that's it, I'm figuring this out. So I went online, and it was the Friday before Memorial Day weekend, and it was my husband's a cardiologist. He was working late. I was home alone in this house. I went on the internet, and I just was playing and playing, and I found an agency thousands of miles away. I called, and they said, "Are you approved?" And I said, "Yes." And they said, "We have children for you today." And that night, they sent me a picture of my now 1 son, and then the next day, I got a picture of my now 2nd son.
Sharon and Rick traveled to a Siberian orphanage, and in what they say now seems like the blink of an eye, Sharon and Rick were parents to 2 boys, 8 months apart in age. They named them Dylan and Hunter.
I just knew that they were going to be mine. I knew it. And even though it sounds crazy and friends thought I was crazy, I think my husband thought I was a little crazy, I just said, they are going to be ours. I just felt it.
Sharon's gut feeling was right. Today, Dylan and Hunter are 7 years old, and Sharon is helping others in similar situations by starting a website.
It's grown nicely, and I feel like I've helped some women, hopefully, and I just decided to share my story there and to capture other women's stories, not just about adoption, but either surrogacy, in vitro. However they became mothers, my platform is there, and it's open for anyone to come and share their story.
Through the website, Sharon was asked to be on the Dr. Oz show.
That was a great experience. It was my first time on a talk show, and he basically wanted to share different stories of women becoming mothers later in life.
And now she's written a book, Mom at Last, How I Never Gave Up on Becoming a Mother.
The only reason I did it was really just because I wanted to share the story and hopefully help somebody see that no matter what obstacles come in your way, if you really want something, and it doesn't even have to be about motherhood, it's really about anything, you can really do it. You just have to keep moving forward.
And that's what Sharon is doing. She looks back at the experience, but doesn't really question it.
I think I was meant to have Dylan and Hunter. So I think every mistake, which I've made many, if I didn't meet my husband at the right time, if we didn't do everything we did, we wouldn't have these 2 children. So I think sometimes you don't understand why the bad things happen, but there's a reason, and in the end, I just know that I was just meant to be with these kids. People say, "Oh, you saved 2 kids." I'm like, no, they saved me.
And late last year, the Russian government put a freeze on adoptions with the United States over accusations of human rights violations. Sharon says there are several other countries that allow international adoption. But you don't always have to look to other countries to adopt. There are so many children right here on Delmarva looking for their mom and dad. And joining us today to tell us more are Amy McKenna from the Pregnancy Help Center of Kent County and Jennifer Chance from Bethany Christian Services. Hello, ladies, and thanks for joining us this afternoon. And Amy, I'm going to start with you. You see a lot of women and young ladies who find themselves in a situation, an unintended pregnancy, and they need guidance, right?
Yes. We are a pro-life Christian organization, so we are concerned with their physical needs, but also their spiritual needs. We provide limited medical services. We have free pregnancy testing. All of our services are free. We provide verification of pregnancy by our physician, Dr. Cynthia Mangabat. And we also have a new ultrasound thanks to the Knights of Columbus. We provide baby items such as diapers and wipes, which are provided through a partnership with the Cuddle Me Diaper Bank, Partnerships for America. And then we also provide baby furniture, which is donated by the community. We provide anything you would need for a baby, formula.
Right. Things to just get them through.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, when they're in this situation, they feel lost, have that feeling. So where do they start?
Well,
where do you start?
They start with a peer counselor that will see what they need and find out what resources we can provide to them. And they also hear the gospel, which is very important because they come to us in distress of some sort. So we feel that, that their heart could use, faith in Christ.
Right. And of course, adoption, that's where you come in, Jennifer. Where do you take over the process? I mean, how do you connect these children with parents? Where does that start?
Well, we typically get a call from the pregnancy centers, and we bring a pregnancy counselor there, and she meets with the client together with their counselor, and she talks about what adoption's all about. They talk about what type of adoption they'd like to have, and we talk about what the process will be for them as they think about going through and living through an adoption decision.
Now, does the mother choose the adoptive parents?
Yes, most times they do. What we provide her is a book full of adoptive families who are ready and excited about parenting a child, an infant. And so she will review those files, those profiles, and make a decision on the child or the family that's best for her.
So the birth parent, the birth mother, can have some say into where her child is going.
Absolutely.
All right. So there are costs in adoptions. We hear about that all the time. Can you kind of sum up what kind of costs both sides see?
Well, for the birth parents, they don't pay anything, so that's not a concern. For the adoptive family, depending on the type of adoption, will determine how much the cost will be. If they adopt from the foster care system, they pay very little at all. If they adopt privately or through an agency, it can be upwards of $30,000.
Yeah, and we think of adoption, we think of little babies, but there are plenty of older children in foster care.
Yeah, that are legally free for adoption, and they're looking for mommies and daddies too.
Okay. Do you stay connected with the parents and children? You unite, your agency?
Yeah, after each placement, there are ongoing post-placement visits that we do as an agency, but we also connect with birth parents with support groups and mentoring if they want that. And then we have support groups too for adoptive families and ongoing training and parenting support and that type of thing.
All right, when you think of adoption, there's always that fear that the birth mother may change her mind.
Yeah, within the time frame that she can change her mind, she does have that right, and that's her privilege to do that. After her rights are terminated, though, the adoption is secure and families don't need to be concerned about her changing her mind.
And I keep saying birth mother, the birth father.
Absolutely.
It's a part of this process too.
Absolutely, and I'm glad that you brought that up because many times birth fathers are cut out of the process and they needn't be, and we don't want to, and we keep involving them whenever we can.
But adoption is very positive.
Awesome.
And it's a nice way to unite families. Thank you so much, Jennifer and Amy. And for more information on the Pregnancy Help Center of Kent County or Bethany Christian Services, go to our website, delmarvalife.com, and click on the Show tab. Well, coming up next on Delmarva Life, if this weekend was any indication, fall is definitely on its way. Jimmy checks in with State Farm to see what we need to be doing now to get our home ready for cooler temperatures. And then we look at your roof.
There's really only 3 shingles.
Help with sizing up your shingles, whether you're considering a roof makeover or you've already decided. Delmarva Life will be right back.